For years I had big goals, but I was too scared of what other people would think of me if I failed. So I'd procrastinate. Then I'd feel annoyed and anxious because I was procrastinating. So then I'd procrastinate more. And then I'd feel even more anxious and annoyed at myself for procrastinating. And so the cycle continued. And it continued to the point where I had regular panic attacks. That was until I came across Stoicism, which completely rewired my brain to find fulfillment and peace even during the hardest points of my life. And it all started with this little triangle. In the next few minutes, I'm going to explain how this triangle helped me become the best version of myself and how it will do the same for you. So there are a lot of classic Stoic books, such as Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, Letters to a Stoic by Seneca, and the Discourses of Epictetus. However, they were written thousands of years ago, so they're not exactly easy reading or well organised like we're used to today. Yes, I'm still haunted by being forced to study Shakespeare in school. As an example, Marcus Aurelius was known as the last of the good emperors, yet he was still an emperor when slavery was the norm, which wouldn't exactly count as good these days, so society was a completely different place back then. However, the philosophical ideas of the Stoics seem to have not aged one bit, and they're just as relevant today as they were thousands of years ago. In fact, most of the successful people throughout history have said that they've used Stoic principles to get where they are, whether they knew that they were Stoic ideas or not. Theodore Roosevelt, for example, was an avid follower of Stoicism. He carried around the Discourses of Epictetus wherever he went, from when he was exploring the most dangerous and undiscovered parts of the Amazon all the way to when he became president. Vice Admiral James B. Stockdale was a prisoner of war and kept and tortured for 7.5 years during the Vietnam War. He says that Stoicism is how he was able to survive, both physically and mentally, and come out of the experience without bitterness. Most of us have probably been bitter having to wait a few months for a haircut. Lockdown's been tough, alright? So when I first heard about Stoicism, I found it a bit too daunting and myself a bit too lazy to wade through these old texts. So I found a book called The Little Book of Stoicism instead. As someone who loves taking complex subjects and simplifying them into easy to follow steps, this was perfect for me. It had a brief introduction to Stoicism, then gave practical points to becoming a Stoic yourself. And in that book, it had this little diagram, the Stoic Triangle. What the Stoic Triangle aims to do is summarise Stoicism in 3 points, and it gives the direction that those 3 points are searching for. Eudaimonia. I don't know if I pronounce it right, but basically eudaimonia means to thrive in life, feeling fulfilled moment to moment. It's different to happiness because it's not based on external circumstances. In essence, it's to act as the best version of yourself. And to get there, although it's a journey and not a destination, you follow the 3 points of the triangle, which are living with arete. Again, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but it means acting as your higher self at each present moment. This means living moment to moment as the best version of yourself, taking into account your values and your virtues. The 4 cardinal virtues, as explained in Stoicism, are justice, wisdom, self-discipline, and courage. Your values are more personal to you, but they should still fit into these 4 cardinal virtues. Acting as your highest self also means embracing the present moment as much as you can. You can do this by feeling your senses, looking around you and accepting everything in the moment. Most people like to do this when taking a walk because it's the easiest time to do it when surrounded by nature. But really you can do this anywhere, and the goal is to do it as often as possible rather than for as long time as possible. Number 2, take responsibility. This one is self-evident. Take responsibility for everything that's within your control. And even if it's not your fault, think, what could I have done differently to avoid this? Stop seeing anything as good or bad except your own actions, because that's all you can control. An event happens and we decide if it's good or bad. One is objective and one is subjective. All you can say for sure is that the event happened. The rest is up to you. The only thing you can control is how you react to it. So take responsibility and focus only on that. If someone stands you up, think, how could I have been clearer when scheduling our plans? Definitely not speaking from experience. If your credit card accounts get hacked, think, how could I have been more secure with my information? Or, do Nigerian princes really give out their money through Western Union? I knew I should have used PayPal. If you hear that a friend has been gossiping about you, think, what made me mistake this person for a friend? Were there any signs that I missed? It might sound like negative thinking, but trust me, there's peace in knowing that you're responsible for your life, and only you are able to control how you react to it. Number 3, focus only on what you can control. As we've established, you can't control anything except for how you act right here in the present moment. So why focus on anything else? The best way to live is to accept everything that comes to us and to focus only on what we can actually change. The trick here is to not see anything we can't control as either good or bad, because then we'll be giving up our emotions to fate. Use the analogy of a dog tied to a cart. They could resist it and get dragged along, hurting themselves in the process, or they could run alongside it and enjoy the ride. And that's how we should approach fate, accepting everything that it gives us and focusing on the one thing we can control, being our higher self at each present moment. This principle is embodied by the Serenity Prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. I have it on my bathroom wall, so I see it every morning when I wake up, throughout the day, and then at night before going to bed. Even several times a day if I've had a curry the night before. Although mine's a slightly less religious version, I took out the references to God and made it more personal. It's pointless to think that we'll ever become the perfect person. That's impossible, and to be honest, life would be pretty boring if we were. And that's not what the Stoic Triangle aims to do. All it does is give you a direction for acting as the best version of yourself moment to moment. What that looks like is completely dependent on you, because we all have different values, hobbies and passions. That's what makes us unique. But having these 3 principles in mind is a good starting point for acting as your higher self. To not get affected by things that are beyond our control, to see the beauty of life despite heartbreaks and tragedies, and to become a valuable member of society, for ourselves, for our friends and for our families. Or we can just keep getting dragged along by the cart. It's up to us. Thank you so much for watching. If you took any value at all from this video, I'd really appreciate if you could hit the like button and comment on your experience with Stoicism. I post weekly videos on building discipline and an unbreakable mindset. If you're looking to improve your life, then hit the subscribe button and join the community. I've also just released a free playbook for getting your life together. It takes you through the step-by-step process for going from anxious and lazy to fulfilled and productive. It's completely free for now, and it's the first link in the description, so grab it while you can. I also just posted a thread on Twitter about my own transformation, and I was completely overwhelmed by the amount of support that I got from it and the nice messages. And you can also check that out below, and I'll see you in the next one.